y'all, what's going on? I'm here for the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 9, episode 10. We start the episode off with Phaedra. You know, she has Aiden helping her make some shirts for to sell at the pop-up shop or whatever, to help raise money for the people in Flint. And, Phaedra is pretty much telling Aiden about the situation in Flint, about their water and all this other stuff. And that's why they're raising the money to help them out and everything. And he's supposed to be making some cookies for the event or whatever. And at first he's like, you know what? He was like, I'm going to charge $5.99. And then he was like, you know what? Matter of fact, I'm charging $6.99. I said, okay, Aiden, big baller shot caller. He is so cute. But anyways, next thing you know, Cynthia, she calls to clarify some information in regards to the pop-up shop, because you guys remember when Phaedra first initially was talking about it with the ladies at the laser tag thing or whatever, Cynthia wasn't there. And so, Cynthia's just going on and on and on, becoming overwhelming and everything, asking all these questions. If Phaedra says, I'm just going to send the email to clarify, some things or whatever, this, that, and the third, and yeah, so that was that. So then we get Sheree. She's looking at stuff for the, the chateau or whatever. I don't know if she was looking at some wall stuff, like stuff for her wall or whatever. I can't remember. But next thing you know, we get a blast from the past. Marlo shows up or whatever, and they all huggy and cutesy with each other and everything. And I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? Because you guys remember how hard they used to be for whatever. But I'm trying to remember, did she come on the show last season with Sheree? Did she come on the episode and then was they all huggy and stuff like that then? Or is this the first time we done seen them on the screen interact with each other since, when Sheree was on here a long time ago? I can't remember. But yeah, I was like, I guess whatever. But anyways, the guy Michelle calls Sheree to let her know that Marlo is going to be his intern for the day or whatever to help Sheree out. And so Sheree tells her that she's been to some of Kenya's events and everything, and how, she noticed that Marlo wasn't there. And Marlo, she says that she thought, Kenya was sweet and, like people just don't understand her and that she's a rebel like her. But she was like that she was dead ass wrong and she's not trustworthy and just a whole bunch of other stuff, you know what I'm saying? And, she's saying that, Kenya hit her up like 5 days before her birthday and everything, asking, what does she recommend, and all this other stuff. And Marlo was just like, she just wanted flowers and candles to be there or whatever. And next thing you know, she sees a picture on Instagram and she was like, I didn't get an invite or whatever, this, that, and the third. And she was like, and then I saw Nene in the picture, so I'm like, oh, I guess this must be why I wasn't invited and all this other stuff. And, she thinks that Kenya is going by, like, status or whatever when it comes to friendship. Like, oh, now Nene's giving me attention again. Let me, be up her ass or whatever, this, that, and the third. And I feel what Marlo is saying, because I felt like for a long time, Kenya kind of did yearn for Nene's friendship after they had a falling out. I don't even remember at this point why they had initially fell out to begin with. But I do feel where Marlo is coming from. It's like Kenya yearned for a long time to get back in the good graces of Nene, and now that, you know what I'm saying? So I understand where she was coming from with that. What else? And Marlo says that she didn't get an invite to the housewarming or whatever. And, Sheree is like that, Kenya is cheap. She calls her a cheap bitch and all this other shit. It talks about, the plumbing in her house and all this other stuff. I said, Sheree, you don't really have no room to talk, because at least Kenya is able to live in her house and everything. Whereas with you, your house is still not done. And from what I read on the blogs, another contractor is suing you. I'm just saying, come on, you know what I mean? But anyway, so moving on from that, we get Kenya. She pulls up or whatever, she's coming back from her trip from Charlotte, and she sees the fuckery of Matt. He's broken glass in her garage and spray painted her cameras. He busts the windows out her car. I feel like every YouTuber gonna be singing that shit or whatever in regards to this situation. But no, for real, like, you know, he bust the windows out her car or whatever. And the glass from the glass or whatever from the garage or whatever, it looked like, you know, it was blood on the window and everything. So like, I'm like, did this motherfucker punch this shit with his bare hands? I'm like, oh hell no, Kenya, you need to stay the fuck away from him, like ASAP. Like, no bullshit. Like, I know we all feel like Kenya do be manipulating this, that, and third, but like I've said time and time again, that don't give Matt the excuse to be doing the dumb shit that he does. You feel what I'm saying? But anyways, you know, Kenya, she calls Candy and tells her what happened or whatever, this, that, and third. And, you know, Candy is like, what? Are you serious? You know what I'm saying? And Kenya, she's like, you know, he's trying to intimidate me and all this other stuff. And Kenya says, you do not need to mess with him no more. You know what I'm saying? And I felt everything that Candy was saying in this conversation. Kenya, and this what made me so mad with Kenya, and I wanted to grab her and shake her, because she gonna sit up here and talk about something that she feels obligated to help him. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? You're not obligated. Like, Kenya, you are not obligated to help a motherfucker that does not want to be helped. You're not. You know what I'm saying? You keep on like all this shit is not worth it. I don't know if you're doing this shit for a storyline, whatever, but it's not worth it at all. You know what I'm saying? And you know, Candy, she's saying, like, she was like, you know, no, you're not obligated to help him and all this other stuff. Like, what would have happened if you was there? You know what I'm saying? And Kenya's like, you know, he's not trying to hurt me. He's just trying to get me to respond. And Candy is like, well, look, this is not some shit that you need to be responding to or whatever, because next time he might come towards you, fuck breaking the window. And I agree with Candy. You know what I'm saying? And Candy asked her, you know, what would your dad say and all this other stuff? And Kenya was like that he would tell me to get a restraining order and everything, but Matt is not afraid of that and all this other stuff. And Candy is like, well, you know, I mean, if you need a couple of days over here, you know, just let me know and everything. And we're going to see a little later on that Candy is going to, you know, regret saying those words to Kenya. So anyways, moving on from that, we see Cynthia. She's pretty much just moving stuff out and everything. And she comes upstairs to talk to Noelle, and pretty much how there was a glitch in, you know, getting the lake house or whatever, this, that, and the third. It was a glitch in the appraisal, and she was saying that the first appraisal was higher than the second appraisal, and that she can't buy a house, you know, for a higher price than what it's worth. So now they gotta wait for a third appraisal and everything. So right now she's, you know, in her words, she's kind of, they're homeless and everything. But you know, Cynthia's mom offered for them to stay with her, and then Kenya offered for them to stay with her as well. Noelle wants to stay with Kenya, but you know, Cynthia's like, well, I don't think that's really a good idea right now, because she's dealing with a lot with her boyfriend and woo woo woo. You know what I'm saying, in my Bootsy voice. So, anyways, moving on from that, we get Phaedra and Kenya. Kenya shows up to Phaedra's office and all this other stuff, and I'm, you know, like the other YouTubers, I'm starting to notice that, yeah, they got Phaedra in her office a lot more this season. Okay. But anyway, so she wants to get advice about the whole Matt situation, because Phaedra can relate, because she done been through some shit with Apollo and all this other stuff. They talk about the whole Flint situation for a minute, you know, and then the pop-up shop, and you know, how it would be a 50-50 split in the proceeds and everything. And Kenya, she's cool with that or whatever. Then Kenya, she gets silent, and Phaedra looking like, what the fuck is going on here? You know what I'm saying? And Kenya, she starts to tear up. Phaedra hands her a tissue. You know, Phaedra is like, what is going on? And, you know, she's, you know, Kenya starts telling her about what Matt did and all this other stuff. And Phaedra is shocked, and she's saying that, you know, she can relate or whatever, because, you know, the things that she's been through with Apollo. Phaedra asks her, you know, about a restraining order, and Kenya says that, you know, she talked to the police about it and everything, and they told her, honestly, jail is not going to help him and all this other stuff. And Phaedra, she agrees, and she says that it's probably gonna make him, you know, worse or whatever, like once he comes out and everything. And you know, Phaedra tells her that her and Apollo went to counseling and everything, and of course it didn't work out or whatever, but she was like, you know, once you're married to somebody, you know, the bad behavior intensifies, and you're stuck or whatever. And you know, she was like that she didn't know who the fuck Apollo was towards the end of the situation with them or whatever. He just became this, person that, you know what I'm saying? It was like the signs were there in the beginning when she first met him and all this other stuff, but it wasn't as bad until towards the end of their marriage. So, Kenya says that she loves him and that she does want to be with him, but she doesn't want to be with the scary side of him. I'm just like, Kenya, just let this shit go. I like Candy's advice better because me and Candy on the same page with this shit. You just need to leave this dude alone. Don't even think about getting back with him. You know what I'm saying? But of course, like I've told you guys before, from the blogs and all this other stuff, we know that they're no longer together at this point. But anyways, Phaedra, pretty much, starts to pray for, Kenya and everything and her safety and all this other stuff. So, moving on from that, we get Candy. Kenya shows up to her house and everything. And, Candy is asking her about, are you okay and all this other stuff. And, Kenya says that she decided not to file the restraining order and all this other stuff, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, Kenya, she's asking where her bedroom is going to be at. And Candy, she's stuck because she's like, she looking like Scooby-Doo in the face and shit because she didn't think Kenya was serious. But see, it's always that saying, Candy, say what you mean and mean what you say. Now, you did sound very sincere when you said that shit to her on the phone, okay? And now you want to backpedal and renege on what the fuck you told her that she could do. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, yeah, so, Candy, she's just stuck because she didn't think Kenya was serious. And Kenya was like, oh, you don't mean it or whatever. And Candy was like, no, you're more than welcome, to stay here and everything. And the next thing you know, Cynthia pops up. But, Candy didn't know that Cynthia was coming. And Kenya's like, oh, I invited her or whatever. And they tell Candy how, Cynthia sold her house and everything. But she doesn't have a place to stay because they haven't closed out, the deal on the other house. So technically she's homeless. And, Kenya, she figured that, the both of them could stay with Candy and all this other stuff. And Candy is like, I didn't sign up for this shit. And I'm just like, now, Kenya, how you gonna sit up here and impose somebody else to stay with somebody? How you gonna sit up here and impose for somebody else to stay with somebody else? It's already one thing that she offered to you or whatever for you to stay there with her or whatever for a few days and everything. But then you sit up here and offer for another motherfucker to stay up in her shit? Like, what kind of shit is that? You know what I'm saying? So, they sit up here, trying to figure out who's gonna, stay in what bedroom and all this other stuff. And, Candy just looking like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, like, Cynthia, she got her kid and all this other stuff. So I was like, Cynthia, just go to your mama house and stay with her until, this shit gets settled. Because this is too much, okay? Kenya asks, Candy, did she see the shade that Phaedra threw earlier in the group text message or whatever? And they said that, Cynthia read Phaedra and everything. I mean, that Phaedra read Cynthia or whatever. And, they was talking about how Phaedra wants 50% of the proceeds or whatever. And Cynthia, she thought that was too much or whatever. And, Cynthia says that Sheree said that Phaedra said that, that Phaedra had said a much lower number than what she was than what she's saying now. And Cynthia calls Sheree like the human tape recorder and all this other stuff, and Candy was like not exactly or whatever. And she was like that Sheree is always bringing some shit back wrong. And I'm like, yeah, Sheree is always bringing back wrong ass information. She always putting a twist or some shit or putting 20 on 10 when it, you know what I'm saying, when nobody really even said all that. You know what I'm saying? So Candy is telling them about the lunch that she had with Portia and Sheree or whatever, and how apparently Sheree must have told Portia that Candy said that Portia fucked Block or whatever, and Candy didn't say that and all this other stuff. And then next thing you know, Kenya, she's like, was Block the one who peed on her? And Candy is like, what? And then Kenya brings up the Miami trip that they went on last season or whatever. And you guys remember when they was on the boat and everything, and they was playing Never Have I Ever, and Shamia was like, never have I ever had a golden shower or whatever. And Portia, she drank to it. So, and we all was like, last season we all was like, oh, you got peed on. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever, this, that, and third. But I was watching Portia on Watch What Happens Live, and she tried to say that, no, I ain't never get peed on or whatever. But she was like, I mean, we all was just drinking and all this other stuff. But y'all were playing a game, though. Y'all were playing Never Have I Ever. You drank when she said that. So, I mean, child, I don't know. I'm going to just leave that one alone. Y'all can make your own conclusion from that. But, anyways, moving on from that, Phaedra, she's looking at the location for the pop-up shop. All the ladies, they show up. And I loved Portia's hair, that little short haircut that she had going on. I really liked that. And also Lena, RL's wife, shows up and everything. Phaedra is explaining the situation to them or whatever. Candy asks about the 50% and everything. And Phaedra is like, it's about giving back to the less fortunate. Not for y'all to just, take y'all money back with y'all and everything. This, that, and the third. And she wants to at least raise $10,000 and everything for this. So Phaedra and Kenya, they talk about the camp or whatever. And how Kenya is going. And everybody is shocked or whatever that, Phaedra and Kenya are going to be around each other or whatever. I think for like a week or so or whatever up in Detroit and everything. And Portia, you could tell she felt some type of way about it. And she was shading Kenya in the confessional. Like, what positivity can Kenya bring or whatever, this, that, and the third. She was like, oh, maybe they could show them how to do that little, hand wave thing or whatever. I said Portia is a fool. But, anyways, Portia says, besties doing things together. That's wonderful or whatever. And, Phaedra, she's playing around talking about something. I don't know you. She was like, I'm getting to know you and everything. And you could tell Portia, she was kind of hurt a little bit. I said, oh, Portia, I don't think Phaedra meant it like that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, but whatever, And Sheree, of course, she is, freaking frack getting ready to crack because Portia doesn't seem too happy. I said, Sheree, sit your ass the fuck down somewhere. Anyways, Candy, she shades about her bedroom, Candy, and how her business is the only one making money. And, she was like, I only got to bring a couple of my products, child, because I don't want to outshine anyone and everything. I said, ooh, okay, Candy, tell it like it is or whatever. Moving on from that, we get the pop-up shop. Everyone, shows up and, everyone, they're showing up and everything. And, Sheree is shading Kenya because she feels like Kenya is being extra or whatever. And doesn't know if she has water or product in her bottles this time, for her hair care line. I said, ooh. Y'all remember last season, Kenya, she had water in her damn bottles instead of the actual product. But anyways, Kenya, she's laughing at Sheree's setup or whatever because, Sheree just got some simple shit. She only got a flower and then a regular ass table. She has like this thing for the flowers or whatever, and then just, her table with her shirts or whatever on it. And all this other stuff. And I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of laughing with Kenya because I said, Sheree, this is the best you could do, but you got the nerve to be sitting up here calling Kenya cheap and all this other stuff. But this all you have to bring or, put up for your setup for this damn event. Next thing you know, Candy, she shows up and everything, and her and Phaedra both have on pink or whatever. And I did like the interaction between them and everything. Like I said, I do miss them being friends, but at the same time, I've accepted the fact that they're probably not going to be friends or be like that at this point. But, anyways, Kenya, she's shading Portia, talking about nobody wants to, she was like, nobody wants weave and all this other stuff. People want natural hair and everything, so that's why they gonna come over to my section and all this other stuff. I said, Kenya, I wear my natural hair or whatever, but myself and a lot of other natural girls, we wear weave and get braids and all this other stuff, for protective hairstyles and everything, especially when we don't feel like dealing with our own hair. So yeah, I'm gonna need for you to get that together. I'm just saying. But anyways, I thought this was so cute. Aiden, he gave, Portia a kiss on the cheek or whatever, because, she asked him for a kiss and everything. I thought that was cute or whatever. Anyways, moving on from that, Apollo's parents, shows up or whatever to support Phaedra and everything. And I thought that was, sweet that they, that she still have a good relationship with them or whatever. Marlo, she shows up, greets Cynthia and everything. She's there to help Sheree. Kenya decides to, say something to Marlo or whatever. Kenya pulls her to the side and she apologizes for not inviting her to the housewarming. Marlo is like, well, this goes back to your birthday or whatever. And Kenya's sitting up here saying that it was a lot going on and Marlo is not trying to hear her and everything. And Marlo is like, you got Nene next to you versus a friend of 3 years. Like, wow, you know what I'm saying? And Kenya, she was like, you know what, I really don't have an excuse. I just felt like I was in the middle. And Marlo's still not trying to hear her and everything, and they going back and forth or whatever. Marlo calls her Nene Jr. and everything. Sheree and Cynthia, they're looking off in the distance of what the fuck is going on. Then they ended up walking away from each other or whatever. Kenya says that, I have real clients to attend to, and they're not old white men and there are no old white men in my line. I was like, ooh, Kenya girl. But anyways, Candy, she decides that she's going to give, Phaedra, the $2,500, regardless of what is being sold at her booth or whatever. I thought that was really nice of Candy and everything. Portia, she's going to donate all her proceeds or whatever. And then Cynthia, she comes over and everything. And then Sheree, they all talking or whatever. And then Aiden, he comes over and he's like, Cynthia, can I get my money now? Because, earlier on or whatever, Cynthia, she told him that she was going to give him his money for, the cookies and everything in a minute or whatever. So I thought that was so cute. But, that was pretty much the episode, y'all. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about it. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you guys come back. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.